The air in this new world is different. It carries the scent of unknown blossoms and damp earth, a scent without memory. For the people, a band of 13 Homo sapiens who have walked further than their ancestors ever dreamed. This land is a promise. They are explorers at the dawn of a new chapter in hominid history. Their journey south a testament to the relentless push of our species. Their leader, a man called Sky, for the startling clarity of his vision, watches the grasslands from a low rise. He sees a world teeming with life, a world ripe for the taking. Their survival skills, honed on the frozen steppes against mammoth and woolly rhino, have made them masters. They believe there is no beast their courage and their tools cannot conquer. Then they see it. At first, it is just a dark shape against the distant hills, a boulder that seems to ripple with the heat. But it moves, slowly, ponderously. It gambles into the open. It is a beast from a dream, a mountain of matted, stone minor scalloped for walking on for thick legs. It is a megalodon. These early humans have no name for it. To them, it is simply meat, an immense, slow, and stupid bounty that will feed the clan for a moon. Hubris is a quiet poison, brewed from past success. Sky Eye signals the hunters. Their movements are fluid, a dance of deadly intention perfected over generations. They spread out, a crescent of death closing in on the grazing giant. Each hunter has his outlet, the spear minus thrower that gives his arm the strength of a giant. A masterpiece of ancient tools. Their flint points are lethally sharp, crafted with a skill that is both art and science. The plan is simple, the same one used to bleed the great mammoths of the north. A coordinated volley to the flank, to the soft underbelly, creating deep wounds that will drain the beast's strength. They are a community of predators, moving as one. At Sky Eye's sharp whistle, the darts fly. They strike true, thudding into the creature's shaggy hide. And then, the impossible happens. The spear shaft, made of fire minus hardened hickory, shatter. The flint points, which can pierce mammoth leather, glance off the behemoth's side as if it were living rock. The creature stops chewing. It turns its head. Its small, dark eyes fixing on the hunters. There is no fear in them, only a slow, rising annoyance. It lets out a low, guttural rumble that vibrates through the soles of their feet. Then, with a speed that defies its bulk, it rises. It stands on its massive hind legs, a colossus blocking out the sun, taller than 3 men. Its forelimbs, previously used for pulling down branches, are now revealed as weapons, each tipped with 3 immense, curving claws. The confident hunters freeze, their mastery turning to ash in their mouths. This is no simple herbivore. This is a force of nature they have just insulted. Before the retreat can even be called, the beast takes a single, ground minus shaking step forward and swings. The retreat is not a retreat. It is a desperate, panicked flight. The world dissolves into a blur of green and brown as the hunters scatter. The sound of the beast's roar chases them, a physical blow that shakes the air. One man, Broken Elk, is not fast enough. The swinging claw, as long as his forearm, doesn't strike him directly but catches the earth beside him, flinging him through the air like a doll. He lands with a wet snap of bone. 2 others risk everything, darting back to drag his stunned body into the tree lane. The mountain does not pursue. It watches them go, then lowers itself back to all fours with a sigh that sounds like grinding stone, and resumes its placid consumption of a tree. The insult has been answered. The lesson has been given. They find shelter in a shallow overhang of rock, a scar in the hillside that offers little comfort but hides them from view. The 13 are now well fit for duty. Broken Elk lies on a bed of ferns, his leg bent at an angle that mocks the natural form. The clan's healer, a woman called Riverstone, works silently, her face a mask of concentration as she packs the wound with moss and binds it with wet leather. His pained grunts are the only sounds in the deepening twilight. The failure hangs heavy in the air, a colder presence than the coming night. Their finest weapons, the pinnacle of their lithic technology, laying sprinters on the plain. Their confidence, the very core of their identity as the ultimate hunters of this prehistoric life, is shattered just as completely. As darkness consumes the valley, primal fear, an ancient inheritance from ancestors who were prey, creeps back into their hearts. Every shadow seems to hold the behemoth's form. Every night bird's call sounds like its guttural warning. The fire, usually a source of communal strength, now seems a pitifully small shield against the immensity of the dark and the monster it contains. This is a turning point in the chronicle of these ancient humans. They huddle together not for warmth, but for the reassurance of another's presence. Their collective breath a fragile rhythm against the silence. Sky Eye stares into the flames, the reflection of his failure dancing in his eyes. For hours, no one speaks. Then, a young hunter, Kale, picks up a piece of flint. He makes a noise, a low rumble, mimicking the beast. He holds up a stone. Like this, he signs with his free hand. The spear did not bite. Another hunter adds. It stood like a great tree, and its arms were falling branches. Slowly, tentatively, they begin to piece together the anatomy of their terror. It is a form of foraging for knowledge, sifting through the terrifying memories to find something useful. They are not just hunters. They are observers, analysts. This ability to transform fear into data is a hallmark of human evolution. They realize their strategy was wrong. They tried to treat a god like a deer. The question changes. It is no longer how do we kill it. It is how do we survive beside it. Fire, the word is whispered, then repeated. Fire drives away the cave lion. Fire turns night to day. Fire is fear made manifest for all creatures but them. A new idea sparks in the darkness of their shelter, an idea born not of aggression, but of intellect and foresight. Dawn breaks, not with the promise of a hunt, but with the cold dread of a reckoning. There is no bravado left. In its place is a quiet, desperate resolve. This is the way of these early Paleo-Indian pioneers. A core lesson learned across millennia of prehistory: adapt or perish. Sky Eye prepares the hunters. They do not sharpen spears. Instead, they daub their faces and arms with reed ochre. A sacred ritual not for courage in the kill, but for steadfastness in the face of overwhelming fear. This act, a flicker of what will one day become art and religion, is for them a way to bind the community. To state without words, we face this together. Their plan is a gamble, an act of collective intelligence against brute force. They will not attack the beast. They will evict it. They have gathered bundles of the driest grass and pitch pine, creating torches that will burn hot and fast. The group splits. Led by Sky Eye, will move along the western ridge of the small valley. The other half will take the eastern. Their movements are slow, deliberate, a stark contrast to the arrogant speed of yesterday. They find the meg of the room near the stream, tearing bark from a willow tree, oblivious. This is the moment. At Sky Eye's signal, the cry of a hawk, the first torches are lit. A line of fire springs to life on the valley's western rim. The flames catch the dry grass, and a creeping wall of smoke and heat begins to descend the slope. The beast stops its feeding. It looks up, its small eyes reflecting the unnatural light. It rumbles, a sound of confusion, not anger. Then the second line of fire ignites on the eastern ridge. The valley is now a chute, a trap of their own making. The fire is not aimed at the creature, but at the land on either side of it, using the terrain itself as a weapon. This is advanced primitive technology in action, a concept born from desperation. The hunters, their figures silhouetted against the flames, begin to beat stones together. A discordant clang that fills the air, an assault on the senses. Several of them show extreme altruism, darting dangerously close to the flames to keep the fire line even unbroken. The behemoth is trapped between two advancing walls of terror. Its ancient instincts, which know the threats of saber-talk, ats and short-faced bears, have no answer for this. It roars, a sound of fear now, not dominance, and begins to move. It plods away from the encroaching flames, following the only clear path, north, out of the valley. The clan follows at a distance, their grim procession driving the living mountain before them. They watch as it lumbers over the far ridge and disappears. They do not cheer. They stand, exhausted, smeared in soot and ochre, and watch the smoke clear from their valley. The air smells of ash and fear and a new, hard minus one survival. They have not conquered the god. They have simply shown it that this small patch of earth is protected by a strange and terrible magic of its own. The silence that descends upon the valley is heavier than it was before. It is the silence of new knowledge, of a boundary established in fire and fear. The clan's victory is not one of domination, but of coexistence. They did not defeat a monster. They negotiated a truce with a force of nature far greater than themselves. This encounter, lost to the annals of prehistory, is a foundational moment, a story that the discipline of anthropology seeks to reconstruct from stone and bone. It is the story of how our human ancestors learned that the greatest tool was not the sharpened flint in their hand, but the shared idea in their minds. They survived not because they were the strongest, but because they could pool their terror, their observations, and their ingenuity into a single, coordinated response. They learned humility, a lesson that would be vital as they pushed deeper into a continent of unknown wonders and horrors. This is the bedrock of our own society, the understanding that some forces cannot be broken and must instead be endured, diverted, or respected. Their awe in the face of the truly gigantic becomes a permanent part of our psyche, an echo that shapes our myths, our religions, and our relationship with the unknown. How many of our modern gods are simply the shadows of the real monsters our ancestors faced in the dawn of the world? I am the chronicler, who sifts the ashes of time, searching for the first sparks of the human spirit. But the greatest danger in a new world is not always the one you can see.